Hi guys, today we're going to be reading Front Desk Chapter 16. Okay, if you have the book, please follow along. Then I couldn't stop thinking about Uncle Lee and how he was willing to do anything, go literally anywhere, even in the belly of a dumpster, to get what he wanted. Was that insanity or courage? I don't know. But what I did know was when he reserved us hamburgers at school the next day, real burgers, not Salatine burgers, I was bringing mine home for Uncle Lee. I didn't care how loudly my stomach protested. Carefully, I wrapped my burger up and hid it in my jacket. I made sure not to squish it all day long. When I got home, I heated the burger up in the microwave and rewrapped it in a napkin, just like they did in commercials on TV. I brought it to Uncle Lee's room. Uncle Lee was delighted. He asked me whether I'd eaten, and I lied and said I had. But then my stomach betrayed me and growled loudly. Uncle Lee laughed. "Come on, let's eat it together," he said. I sat down and divided the burger, and this time I shared more than a couple of crumbs. Uncle Lee ended up staying here for 3 nights. Each night was filled with delicious food and ratatine stories about customers and things like their weird sauce requests. One guy had insisted a burger with ketchup and jam. At the end of the day, our refrigerator was nearly empty, so my mom and I went to Ralph's, the American grocery store 3 blocks away. Normally we go to China Supermarket, but today was 2-for-1 cauliflower sale at Ralph's. "We should really stop letting people stay at the motel for 3, my mom said with a sigh. She picked up the cauliflower, put them in a plastic bag, and tossed it in the cart. "But you and Dad are so happy when they come," I said, thinking about how animated my parents were at dinner these last few days. I know. And they're such good people, and their stories, she put her hands over the chest, heart-wrenching. They really are. All week I've been back and filling in all the details in my journal. They were fascinating, the stories, but I worried about Mr. Yao, my mom groaned. "If he catches us," her voice shut off, I'm worried about that too. Sometimes Mr. Yao hasn't come around for a week. We are due for a visit anytime." "We should be careful," I said, reaching out for a box of Honey Nut Cheerios, my favorite. I think I should put my food down and say no more visitors, my mom. I think I just have to put my foot down and say no more visitors, my mom said. She looked at the items in the shopping cart, eyes lingering on my Honey Nut Cheerios. "What? I always get them," I said. I picked up the box and held them close to my chest. I know money was tight, but surely not no Cheerios tight, right? Right. Her pause said it all. "It's fine," she said, reaching out for the box. "Here, put that back in the cart." I held on to it. I peered longingly at it. All the delicious honeys kissed circles in the box. The smiling bee that nobody can say no to Honey Nut Cheerios. Well, I can think of one person. Me. Slowly, I put the box back on the shelf. "What are you doing?" my mom asked. "It's okay," I said. You don't want it anymore?" I shrugged. "I'm kind of sick of it." I turned away before my mom could see my eyes. That Sunday, as usual, my father and I loaded up the car with empty aluminum cans, to be amazed at how many soda people drank at the motel. My dad and I crushed the cans, put them in trash bags, and drove to the local recycling center. I wish my mom could come too, but Mr. Yao had a rule about never leaving the motel unattended. The recycling center gave us $10 for the cans, which we would change in exchange for pennies. Then we went over to the lake where we sat and went over them, one by one, trying to find the one special penny we've been on the lookout for as long as I could remember. It was the 1943 copper alloy penny. My dad said it was worth 40,000 at least. My dad insisted, maybe even more. When he told me that, my mouth went dry. 40,000 just for one penny? Think of all the Honey Nut Cheerios we could buy. My dad said that the reason they were so valuable because there was just 40 of them made, and they were made by accident during the war when pennies were converted to steel. So far, only one had been found. The rest were just out there waiting to be found. We didn't find the 1943 penny that day. But we did find a 1984 double die, and my dad said that was worth $30. A double die is when they accidentally print the words twice on a coin. Anytime that kind of mistake happens, the coin is automatically worth a lot more. I tilted my head to the side. Why is it automatically worth more? I asked my dad. He didn't respond right away. So I asked about the 1984 double die in our collection of valuable pennies. We had about 17 pennies in a bag that we've been searching for all over the years. Although it was worth about 300. It was worth about 300. My dad had was enormously proud of them. He never once suggested we cash in those pennies. They were his babies. Why are the mistake ones worth more, Dad? That's a great question, he said. He put his coins down and turned to me. The fact that a penny can be worth 400,000 times more because of a mistake, does that tell you? What does that tell you? I shook my head. It means a mistake isn't always a mistake. Sometimes a mistake is actually an opportunity, but we can't see it right then and there. Do you know what I mean? He gazed into the distance. Like coming from this country, for instance, he said. My dad shook his head and chuckled. I thought it was going to be very difficult. I closed my eyes, thinking of the plane ride over. My dad had given my hand a squeeze and asked, "Are you excited?" I nodded, even though I was more scared than excited. But he wasn't. He was just excited. As we flew across the Pacific, he and my mom had talked a mile a minute, making plans and setting goals. My mother asked if he thought we should go see the Statue of Liberty. Sure, that will be the first place we go for a vacation. New York City, my dad had said. We'll stay in a nice hotel, get dinner in a nice restaurant. You really think we can do that? My mom had asked. I know we can. My dad had said, beaming. I looked at my father now. 2 years later, he had grays in his hair. The creases in his forehead had become to ditches. Would you still have come? I asked him softly. If you knew? He looked up at me. In a heartbeat, he said, "Do you know why?" I shook my head. "Because of you. You're my special penny, Mia," he said, touching my nose. You know what? I smiled. Just sitting next to my dad by a beautiful lake, it made me so happy. I decided that right then and there, it didn't matter if we found the 1943, but it would be nice if we did. If you want to see chapter 17, watch the next video. And if you want to see chapter 15, watch the last video. Bye-bye.